I just heard about R. Kelly charged with 10 counts. 10 counts. What did they say? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Hold on. 10 counts of sexual abuse. Wow. 10 counts of sexual abuse. Well, I be damned. And y'all thought Jussie Smollett was bad. At least one thing I can say about Jussie Smollett, he really didn't, for the most part, outside of the fact that he falsified a police report in Chicago PD and City of Chicago had to use extra manpower for something that didn't ever happen. He didn't hurt anybody. He honestly didn't. So let me go in and talk about it. The Tale of Two Artists. This is DJ Wolf Live. All right, guys. Excuse me. I'm going to take me a little drink for a minute right quick. And this ain't no tea because, shout out to Lovely Tea for her fine self. But this ain't about no tea. Also not about drinking the Kool-Aid either, people. What I've been doing, I've been drinking this, what they call it, not fused. What is the name they call it? It's another name for it, where you put the fruit in the water and you strain it out and you get the flavor. Well, anyway, that's what I'm doing now. It's kind of like my way of part of my diet. I'm continuing my diet now 2 years later, and I'm still down 20 pounds over 20 pounds less than what I was 2 years ago. 2 years I was at a record 289 pounds, actually, right? Something like that. That was the most I ever weighed. And I'm not gonna lie, people, I could feel the difference at the time. Now, when I got down to about 226, I really could feel the difference. I was practically running into work, man, from my car, and I was like, wow. Because I remember in 2017, man, I struggled to get I really did, to a point I thought I was having a stroke, man. I could barely walk. I remember one day, I felt like my body was literally paralyzed, man. I could barely walk. For real. That was a scary moment. And but anyway, let me get off of that right now. I'll talk about the diet on another podcast. Now, what I do want to talk about before one of these fools try to hit my car, because they act like they're in such a daggone hurry to get to nowhere. I knew that bastard was going to do that, but they did it with somebody else. You know what you want to do with me, because that would have been a problem. Anyway, this has been a very eventful week on black men. Now, Cosby had this Supreme Court decision about one woman who falsely accused him of sexual misconduct, and I think they actually overturned the charges. The media never talked about it. But you're still talking about Jussie Smollett, who has been charged with falsifying a police report, and is possibly maybe up on a grand jury for that. Then on top of that, the future of him on Empire may not be certain at this point either. So, but that's another whole story. And then I just heard R. Kelly down the wire. I just heard R. Kelly is being charged with 10 counts of sexual abuse. And they said some of the girls were as young as 13. I was like, oh shit. I just heard that on the radio. He's in big, deep shit, man. And them charges if them charges, I don't know if they'll stick or not. If they stick, he is in big trouble. I know earlier this week it was reported that he had moved out of his studio. He had a studio in Chicago, I guess like a semi-private studio that he recorded his records at. And I don't think it was the only studio he had, but that was the one that he had. I guess it was something he owned himself that he recorded his stuff at. or famous music at. And they say he recorded some of his biggest hits at that very studio. He had to move out of it. And they also was reported was violations of some violation codes where he resided at the studio. It wasn't, I guess, something about it wasn't up to code for him to run it in the first place, but he had it for a long time. That's what money and fortune will do to you when you have it, and then when they want to get at you, especially if you're black, they'll lower the boom. Which is what I want to talk about. I just heard that Patriots owner Robert Kraft is up on charges of sexual misconduct with a number of underage girls himself. But you know what the R. Kelly thing, and that's the other thing I noticed. Every time they catch a white guy doing this very same thing that they say a brother did, or let's put it like this, for every one white guy that they catch doing some dirt like that, they always gotta have a brother or two that they want to put up on the dais to talk about in the media. They do it all the time. Yeah, Robert Kraft. They talked about him a few weeks ago for about a minute. Then it stopped. When the Jussie Smollett situation came out, they talked about that for what? We've been talking about it for the last 3 weeks. But see, Jussie did himself in. He did. And I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth. How can you, a black gay actor and singer, come from a successful acting family, matter of fact, because his sister is a known actress. I don't know if she can sing, but she's a known actress. And here's the thing with that. She herself has been in a bunch of success. Yeah, guys, question came up on the radio, and my old lady just told me. The question was, should the parents whose daughters were involved with R. Kelly, particularly the ones who knew what was going on, be charged with the abuse along with R. Kelly? My answer is yes. Because there were a few parents that didn't know about it. They were well on about it. Okay? The whole time. And also, oh my God, these people cannot drive. They knew his reputation. They were well aware of his reputation, matter of fact. Very well aware of it the whole time. The whole time. And you going to just go on, man. But anyway, my thing is this. I was talking about Robert Kraft, who is the owner of the New England Patriots. Yeah, the 2019 championship New England Patriots. Whoopee. Anyway, so he was recently charged with several counts of sexual misconduct of minors. And I'm sure they're going to try to downplay it. But like I was saying before, for every time you get one of these white, affluent guys who get in trouble doing that kind of stuff, guess who they call upon to try to dumb it down? The media, the mainstream media. And they jump on that shit like mice on crack. They do it every time. Because they want to dumb it. And the media plays up to that, too. They've been doing it with Donald Trump for the last several years. And now, because of Robert Kraft's being up on charges, now they want to throw in R. Kelly in the mix. Now, I have a couple of things I want to talk about, too, because the situation with Jussie Smollett, and although he brought it to himself, the Chicago police focus very, very heavily on this. To a point where I'm like, put a gag order, which, I mean, and I don't know how to say it. Maybe I feel like, maybe a gag order should have been put in on that first, because there are a lot more fish to fry outside Jussie Smollett. Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending Jussie Smollett for what he did. I'm not in any shape or form. But I will say this. I think that the PD, Chicago PD, should have probably kept it a little bit mum on that, because a lot of information did get leaked out. Some information was true, some information was not true. Now I will say this on behalf of myself. I try to present my opinions on what I was presented by multiple sources of the media. That's it. And I try to stick to a thing with him where it's talking about the facts and not much else. Because I can't say, well, Jussie was over there. I can only state what was released by them. And that's basically what I try to do. Because even myself, and I question it. Did he set it up? Was it a hoax? I don't know. Because I didn't. But what I do know is that, was it a hoax? Because I question that. I really wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt on that. But I can't really say that, okay, did white people set him up? In this case, I'm going to say no. I'm going to honestly say no. I think he's going to make a turn. White people did not set this guy up. He set himself up. That's what I don't understand. For a salary. Now, he could have got a lawyer for that and saved himself a little bit more money. Now, I heard that and I don't know if it's true, this is alleged, that he was making $60,000 an episode, which is not bad. I can't complain about it. Well, of course I can't complain about it. I ain't making that kind of money. But, on a serious note, though, it's not exactly nothing to sneeze about. I mean, that's pretty damn good now, I think about it. Hell, I don't make that a year. Well, I don't barely make that a year. I don't even make that 2 years. Well, let's put it like this. I don't make that an episode. I don't make that per week. It's not even close, But what I'm saying is, it's crazy, man. I don't know why people like to hot dog it on the roads out here, man. It's nuts. Ooh, it is bad. It is bad. Damn. It's bad as I don't know what. Yeah, go ahead, take that. I'll take this. But I just don't like the fact that it's unfair and it is. The coverage when it happens to black guys, and I'm going to tell you this to be a fact, is always on top. When scandals come out about white guys, like Robert Kraft and Les Moonves and others, it's always like the third or fourth story. But if it's black guys or R. Kelly or Bill Cosby or Jussie Smollett, it's always on top. It's always the first story of virtually every newscast. Matter of fact, the newscast last night, and I saw it myself, the Chicago local news had a special report that was posted on YouTube. It was like one of their trending videos of Jussie Smollett leaving the courthouse on his way back to the set of Empire, which is also filmed in Chicago, by the way. And I'm like, wow. The lead story in many newscasts all over. And matter of fact, it was a plethora of news trucks, reporters, and cameras that was outside that courthouse in Chicago. All over them, Now, like I said, and I'll give you an example of what I saw. Now, if you watch Entertainment Tonight or Access Hollywood or those shows like that, or even the Today Show, their lead story has been for most of this week, Jussie Smollett. Not Robert Kraft. No. Robert Kraft's story was not even the lead story. It was Jussie Smollett. Yeah. Robert Kraft, that thing happened, not that long ago. Probably about just before Jussie Smollett. And yet, it wasn't a big story for a while. And then they throw R. Kelly. See, they want you, the media plays up to this shit. I know they do. They run with R. Kelly stories, of black guys. They run with stories like that all day long. But come to us, it's, anything good about us, you barely hear. Like Cosby. In Cosby's case, Cosby may be, I don't recall if the charges are going to be dropped against him about that particular woman. Is it going to affect his sentencing? Or will it drop the sentence? I don't know. I don't remember if that's the main one or not. Because the main one was the one that got him convicted. But I have to look at that and get back with you on it. But you didn't hear about that. This guy reported on YouTube. I haven't verified the story, but I'm going to look into that. But it is kind of odd that they didn't report it. But then again, anything good that happened to us, you never hear about it. Anything bad that happened to us, it's always top story. Like, I'll give you a prime example. Michael Jackson. Well, Michael Jackson was a big name in music. He was a big name in entertainment, period. He was huge. When he passed away in 2009, which is, 10 years ago, this year. June will be 10 years, June 25th. When Michael Jackson died, June 25th, 2009, it was like, that story ran for weeks and weeks and weeks. Matter of fact, Ed McMahon and Farrah Fawcett, all three died the same week. And guess who's the big story? Michael Jackson. And of course, there was all kinds of speculations about his death. That led up to that doctor who he had only serving 4 years. That's it. And people to this day still think that Michael Jackson's death may have been set up. I haven't gone to that yet. There's been a lot of theories about his passing for years. But then again, there's been theories about his passing as well as the passing of Prince too. That one is the one that really shook me. I mean, Michael Jackson, well, it riled me. I'm not gonna lie, it really did. But Prince's death really shook the rap for me personally. It really did. I'm not gonna lie about that. That. And I was at work when I heard about that, and everybody in the office was completely stunned. And I even told myself, yeah, Fox called it. They definitely called it. It's been confirmed. Oh man, y'all people don't let up nothing, y'all. And to me, it was that one was a shocker. That one just came out of left field. He was the one I really did like. He was known for having clean eating, living, and all that. Then you heard he died from overdose. Something about that really, to this day. And his death is coming up on 3 years in April. Yeah, it's wow. That one really bothered me. I'm not gonna lie. Because I followed Prince just like I followed Michael Jackson from day one. When I heard about Michael Jackson back in 1969, they was like, this guy gonna be this young kid gonna be something else. He going places. I heard the same thing about Prince. I heard about Prince before Prince dropped his first album. This is no joke. And it just gives me a sick feeling in my stomach every time I think about that, man. So these guys were my, I ain't gonna lie, these guys were my music heroes, man. I'm not gonna lie about it. They both were, The only out of the two, Prince was the only one I actually got to see in concert live. My wife actually saw both in concert many years ago. Well, she saw Mike. I know she saw Michael when he was younger, years and years ago. But it is messed up though, and I'm really stunned about it, about both of your passings, and it just took its toll. But like I said, the sensationalism behind it was tremendous. It is funny though that when these guys slowly started falling off the charts, you didn't hear about them that much. You know, but when they died, yeah, everybody was on it. You know, and matter of fact, there's a new documentary about Michael Jackson is going to be released by HBO, and guess who's trying to stop the documentary from being released? Michael Jackson's family. They do not want that. Matter of fact, there's a lawsuit that they're filing against HBO. They want it blocked. Is it me, or is it because they just don't want they don't want to be seen because they, you know, because apparently HBO ain't giving them no skin out the game, and they're getting. Is it me because the family of Michael Jackson, or the Jackson family, or members of the Jackson family aren't getting much skin off the game? Because that could be it. You know, Michael Jackson for years really was. I'm not gonna say. I can't really say he was a. Well, I guess you could say that. He was kind of the chosen one of the family. In terms of the one who went beyond just a member of the Jackson 5. Or the Jacksons. You know? He kept that name fame going with them for decades, man. You know? And you never know. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But it has been reported that they are currently suing HBO for over $100 million. I don't know where it's gonna go at this point, but HBO, from what I heard from published reports and media reports, they said they're gonna go ahead and show it anyway. Like I said, hey. It's their documentary, I guess, because maybe the Jackson family, members of the Jackson family, didn't have any skin in the game, wanted to get some skin in the game, and I guess the only way they can get it is to sue them. You know, that's my theory on that. That's not fact, but that's my theory. But, you know, it's just the fact that I hate that when it comes to white people doing the same dirt in terms of like what Les Moonves and Robert Kraft has done, like R. Kelly or something that Jussie Smollett did, it gets barely any coverage. And then the guys like them to get to walk. I was talking about it in office today. Robert Kraft's going to walk. He's likely going to walk. He's not going. I doubt that he's up on grand jury. You know why? Yeah, it's a little something called white privilege. They always get that. Just like Ralph Northam, who I talked about out here in Virginia. You know, he's not going. And here's the thing that really tripped me out. Now, there was a black woman who was part of a famous civil rights group. I think in 1960. I forgot where they protested. And initially, when she heard about Ralph Northam, she said she was, she couldn't even talk about it. Now she's she's singing like a canary. Talking about, oh yeah, we need to forgive and let go and blah blah. Oh, here we go. Forgive. Okay, all right. Yeah, I heard all that. I heard all that before. You know. But and that's always the case. We're the ones that always have to forgive. We're the ones that always have to let go and look past that. You know, we, African American, we always got to do it. White people can do dirt all day long. Never be chastised for it. Never be held accountable for it. Never have to do virtually no time for a lot of what they do. You know, there's a guy who they just arrested, the Coast Guard guy. You know, he's labeled a terrorist though. What about Darren Wilson or what's the guy down in South Carolina? Dylan Roof. What about him? Those guys were terrorists. Those guys committed a hate crime. Y'all won't call it that, but that's what they did. As far as I'm concerned, I consider those were hate crimes. Anytime you shoot an unarmed teenager in the back 6 times, that's a hate crime. No doubt about that. You know, anytime you go into a church and kill 9 people, parishioners, just because they were praying, and 9 parishioners who welcome you in with open arms, that's definitely a hate crime. Yet Obama, yes, I'm calling Obama out. I'm calling you out, brother. Never called it out. Never called it a hate crime the whole time he was in that church. Never called it out once. We must look past it and forgive. Sick of that. We are the ones that's supposed to be forgiving all the time. Don't let you do nothing to no white person. And I don't condone it. I don't condone doing anything to anybody of any sort like that. Period. I don't condone any of them. That's my word. I really don't. But let one of us do that to somebody. Yeah. They'll have your ass. They do it. Pat on the back. Yeah. Small fine. Have a nice day. Bullshit. George Zimmerman's still walking around as though he did nothing. Yeah. These guys get to walk. But if you talk about it, they label you a black extremist. Hey, that's up. Black identity. Really? Because you're talking about the hate that they do. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You ain't supposed to talk about it. You ain't supposed to bring it up. You ain't supposed to project what was being done to your people. You're supposed to keep your mouth shut like a good nigga. Yeah. And I hate to say it, but that's what they're doing. That's why they put that up a couple years ago. Because they don't want you to talk about it. They want you to just let it go and move on and forgive like nothing happened. Now, that black chief in Chicago, he talked about, and he put smackdown verbally on Jussie Smollett. Where was he at to put the smackdown on that white cop who shot Laquan McDonald 16 times? Where was he at? Didn't say a word. We'll put it like this. He didn't say much. I'll take that, but he didn't say much. I know that. Yeah. Where was the justice at then? You know? And that goes for Cleveland too. Yeah, you know I'm going to talk about my hometown. Where's the justice at when Brillo helped to launch 100 rounds into 2 black people who didn't even have a gun in their car? Okay? They shot over almost 150 rounds into that car, if not more. And the judge sat right there and literally was trying to point out things to try to drop the case, which he ended up doing. I said to watch the whole thing, and I was in complete shock. This fucking judge let that shit go. He let him get away with it. But we ain't supposed to talk about that. If we talk about that, we're wrong. It's the kind of stuff like that that just really gets me upset. As an African-American man, and as a man. But as an African-American man, that, to me, it don't set well with me. It never will. It never will. You know, and this is what I'm gonna say right up front. If your kids ain't learning Black history in school, it's high time you teach them. It really is. My son told me all 12 years of his school experience in public school, he never, including preschool and kindergarten, he never learned anything about Black history. And I went over it with him. And I made sure he got books on it. And, you know, I told him, I always send him stuff about YouTube stuff from guys like Tariq Nasheed, Black Authority, and Professor Black Truth, and others, to tell you about the things that you don't hear about, to school you about the things you need to know, you know. And I try to do the same on my channel sometimes too, because these people don't care about you. They don't care about your heritage. They don't care about your history. In some cases, they don't even care about your life, to be honest. That's like the guy, the Coast Guard guy. He was a Coast Guard guy. He worked for the Coast Guard. He was higher up in the Coast Guard out here in Maryland, Silver Spring. Yeah. He didn't give a fuck. He came out, and according to published reports, he came out and said he wanted to do in everybody in sight. He didn't care. Yeah. That's how bad this MAGA got. This make a great American great bullshit, man. You know? And you got the guy at the top just spewing hate, never getting called out. Never. You know? That's the kind of stuff that makes me upset, man. I'm not gonna lie. And he's continually trying to siphon money to build a wall for no reason, other than really just as far as I'm concerned, probably try and skim some money off the top. Who knows? Yeah, I said it. You know? Why else would you try to put a wall across the Mexican border for $5 billion? A fucking wall that the Mexican president said, I am not going to pay for that fucking wall. And I don't blame him. But yet, 45 millions all drank the Kool-Aid. Drank the goddamn Kool-Aid. Yeah. And bought into it hook, line, sinker. Boy, you gotta shake your head up sometime, man. I'm telling you, But us as African Americans, we have to stay silent about that. We're not supposed to say anything about it. No matter how wrong other people are, we're supposed to keep our mouth shut. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm glad with this life. Just sick of it, man. But, like I said, I'm going to keep talking about it. And I'm going to keep talking about it. And I'm going to keep talking about it. You know? At some point, somebody has to be honest and stand up for what's really happening out here and tell it like it is. That's all. We have to have an honest and open discussion about what's going on. We have to have an honest and open discussion about what we need to do to resolve these situations, man. It ain't right. People ain't living right no more, man. They're not. When I hear about all this violence in schools and kids have to look behind their shoulders every day in the school for whoever doing what, that's a problem. I remember the DC sniper years ago. I was scared out my ass, man. And I, because I was concerned, because at the time my son was playing Little League football. And it was a scary time. I'm at the gas station, looking around. Every time I went to the gas station, it was scary. It was the scariest moment ever. It's sad. The only thing I can do is shake my head in disfucking belief that people ain't got no love out here, man. Where's the love? Seriously, where is the love? You know? That's what drives me nuts anymore. That, you know, people ain't got no love no more, man. Ain't no, you know what my man said, ain't no love in the heart of the city, man. If you listen to it, to me, for me personally, it hits me deep, man. Because I'm feeling like there's not anymore, man. People don't give a damn about, you know, other people's feelings or whatever. They just say, hey, whatever. People are ruthless anymore, man. And I'm going to tell you one other thing. I really feel, and I told my son and I've told other people this too, I feel bad for these kids coming up. This generation, although they have the best access to it, not only education, but the best access, I think they do. Go online. Trust me. You have a wealth of knowledge you can get access to more than any other time on the planet. More than any other generation ever. And some of them, many of them don't take advantage of it. The access to, you know, knowledge and education and stuff. Many of them don't. They want to go out there and make YouTube videos and shit. Play on the tablets all night. That kind of stuff. You know? Stupid. Stupid as hell. You know? What I'm saying is we need to get it together, man. This is, it's just terrible, man. It's absolutely terrible. That's all I'm going to say about it. I don't have much else to say. Except, I may be doing a live podcast tonight. I'm actually maybe doing a live video podcast tonight. Calibration show. I might even tape it and just throw it out there. It'll probably be for 1 hour. Maybe an hour and a half. Depends on what I'm doing. Because I'm doing a big gig this weekend. And I want to make sure all my stuff is in working sound order when I do it. So, all right, guys, this is DJ Wolf. That's all I got to say right now. Of course, I'll keep you updated about what's going on with R. Kelly and Jussie Smollett and Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft. I'm sorry, Robert Kraft. It's Robert Kraft. I'll keep you updated on that too, because I know they aren't going to say much about it because they're going to let the R. Kelly situation take over. You know how they do. This is DJ Wolf. Again, I got more to say about this and other stuff on the back burner. I'm out.